Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 4, Episode 33. We have some big things coming up here real soon, including tomorrow actually is a big anniversary in my life. Tomorrow would be 1,000 days ago that I ended up in the hospital for a week and wasn't able to walk for weeks and couldn't gamble for that long. So that's a big one for me, and I'm actually still recovering from that. And then coming up in about 8 episodes, I think, will be our 600th or 700th episode. That's coming up real soon, and I'll have to check out where I am money-wise and see how I've done since the last 100th episode. The trip is coming up next month, and I'm actually going to buy the plane ticket today. I need to be mindful of what time the plane arrives because Caesars is going to pick up the family in a limo, and I need to make sure that it's the correct time so they're not there an hour early and wondering where the heck I am. But today is Wednesday, and I decided to travel today, so I'm leaving home early. It is 28 degrees outside, and should have a longer day today. I don't have to be back by a certain time. However, I do have enough gas to get to almost. I'm going to fill up before I get to my first casino, so I'll have to do that, and then I would barely have enough to get home, so I'll probably stop on the way home as well. So I'll be mindful of the gas prices on the way out so that I can get the best price on the way back. Yesterday was an odd day, and I've been considering how to best describe what I'm doing on the side. And I talked to some friends of mine who are doing the same thing, and the best thing that we can come up with is credit card churning, and it's actually the most accurate to describe what we're doing because we are buying a large volume and selling a large volume and making money off not just only the sale, but a lot of the money coming from the credit cards. So that's the way I think I'm going to describe it from now on. And so with that in mind, yesterday I made around $400 or $500 from casinos and about $500 from credit cards. So let me see what they're saying here. They'll also talk about that. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. So that was pretty big yesterday. I did get $10,000 in last night or this morning to the bank account. So that's kind of a relief, not being so tight, at least having that money in the checking account. And my wife is sending out a package today that should yield me about that much again, and I have some other credit card stuff should be posting today, and then I will update you in the next couple days. But I have a lot of points came through yesterday or the day before, and I'll be cashing those out as a statement balance on my credit card as well. So a lot of good stuff happening as far as all that stuff, and hopefully we continue to grow that. For a long time there was a balance of blackjack and slots, and right now those are both kind of slumping for me, so it's good to have other things pick up the slack when things like that happen. So anyway, we are on our way to the first casino, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, real quick here, I want to mention something that a friend brought up, and I think it's important for me to explain and describe. what I'm doing. The reason I'm being vague about some of the things that I'm doing is because some of the plays that you can do are so small and so sensitive that if anyone finds out about it, it could kill the play. Imagine there's one slot machine that you can beat for $100 every day, no matter what, and it's only $100. If you tell someone about it, then they're going to be hitting it for that $100 every day instead of you, or 10 people are going to try to hit it for that money, and someone's going to discover what's going on, and they're going to close the loophole. So this friend described how a while back there was a certain purchase that you could make on Discover Card that should not have been eligible for a cash back. It should have been considered a cash advance, but that cash advance could have been done in a certain way that it showed up as a purchase, and people were making money on it and just take that money, put it in the bank, run it again, put it in the bank, run it again. And it was mentioned on someone's podcast, and within one day that loophole was closed, and the people who were quietly making money off it, somehow the word got to the guy who was doing the podcast, and he broadcast it and killed the deal for them. So that's the reason why sometimes things are sensitive and you don't want to describe them in detail. Another one would be if there was a whole card opportunity and I said, yeah guys, in this Kansas City casino, this dealer flashes his card 80% of the time on this table. How long do you think that play is going to last? And probably a day. So that's why I'm being vague with those things. But anyway, continuing my trip as the sun is just starting to come up. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So I learned something when I was in there. I was walking around looking at slots, and I only found one small play. It was less than $1 a spin. I played that one through, and it paid okay. I ended that ahead $81, and that's the only play that I found. But I was walking around looking, and I walked by someone, and they said, Joe, and I looked around, and it was a guy I knew, of course, and he said, are you going home or just heading out for the day? I said, I'm heading out for the day. And he said, well, be careful, you heard about the snow. And I said, no, I didn't hear about the snow. He said, there's going to be some very heavy snowfall coming this afternoon, so be careful. So I need to check the weather and get the timing right and see exactly how much snow we're talking about. We're talking about 1 inch. I'm not really that worried about it, but if we're talking about 6 inches, then I have to start timing things properly. So I did end up leaving, like I said, ahead $81. I do have free food for today, but I did not use it. This is going to be the last casino that I hit today as well, so I'll have a chance this afternoon to swing by and get something good to eat. I don't know if I'll eat anything before that. We'll see. It may depend on how busy the tables are. If there's no opportunity to play, I may sit in the car and have something to eat, do some work, and make myself seen at the office at least. So we'll see what happens. So right now, off to an okay start. I made $81 in there, and with my credit card stuff that I'm doing, I made about $300 so far today. So that's good as well. So just going to continue on to the next spot, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, I'm back for now. I tried to play a little bit of blackjack. First I looked at slots, there was nothing. I go try to play some blackjack. All the tables are 6 to 5. There's one table that's 3 to 2. There's an old guy on there, and there's an older lady waiting to play. And so I sit down, I'm waiting for the shoe to end, and she ends up leaving, asking for a placeholder, and she ends up leaving, so it's just the two of us.
The new shoe starts, I buy in for $300 on a $15 table, spreading from 15 to 100, and I play a full shoe, and then we start the next shoe. About a quarter of the way through the next shoe, a guy comes to the table, and he's watching. He's not counting anything or anything like that because he's a moron. And then as soon as it goes negative, he decides to come in. So I just decide to get up because now we're going to have 3 people at the table and it's negative. And then he throws out like $3,000 or $4,000 in 20s on the table. So I'm not going to sit around while they count that on a negative count. So walked away from that table plus 150, and then I'll come back and get another session here in a little while when they open up more tables. I'll be back. All right, guys, let's talk a little bit here. I'm walking out of this place right now, but the stuff that you see sometimes, the corruption and the ridiculousness that you see sometimes, this reminds me of something that happened like a week ago, and I never really mentioned it. I didn't really think to mention it, but I'm going to mention it now. So I go look at a few slots, and I find one play. This was right after I finished that blackjack session. I play it. It's like a really low limit, under $1, and I play it through. I end up ahead like $81, so plus 81 there. So then I'm looking around, looking for some blackjack tables. They finally opened up a table, so I go over there and I buy in for $300. And actually, that reminds me, I did one other thing. Buy in for $300 and start playing. So there's 2 tables next to each other. One has a lower limit, but it's a hit 17. This one has a little bit higher minimums, but it's a stay 17. So I went to this one. So I buy in. I'm playing. It's up and down. It's kind of like neutral most of the time, and
going up.
And I end up losing the $300. The reason that you buy in for $300 on that table is because they don't have to call anything out and nobody has to approve anything. If it's 301, if it's 400, anything over 300, then they have to have someone come approve it. So I buy in for $300, lose that, buy in for another $300. I'm playing, and it's not going great. And after I rebuy them in for a total of $600, and I'm down to like my last $50, and I luck out. I win a couple hands in a row, and the shoe ends. At this point, I'm down like $350 or so, and what do these people want to do, like 80 miles an hour in a parking lot? What's wrong with people? Anyway, I start the next shoe, and this one is going like spectacularly from the beginning of the shoe, right? So I'm betting minimum, and then count goes up, raise my bet a little bit, count goes up, raise it a little more, and then we have a little bit of like choppiness back and forth, which is, that's what you expect to happen in a normal situation. And then we get to the part of the shoe that's starting to get juicy, right? And now the count's going up, and I'm doing okay and going up, and I'm winning, and I'm winning, and I'm winning. So I go from being down like almost 400 to being about even. And then this Asian lady comes to the table, and I've seen her before, and I've wrangled with her before, so to speak. I've had my issues with her before, because she's one of the most selfish people I've ever seen and doesn't care about you at all. And so she has a free bet. The free bet is for $20. $20, right? This table minimum is higher than $20. So she puts the papers out on the table, and I say something, and she waits for a minute, and then I win like 3 more hands, and then she puts out the money. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Can't you see? I mean, even if you don't count cards at all, you know that, first of all, you don't want to get in the middle of a shoe without asking. Second, you never get in when a person won 3 or 4 hands in a row. I don't care if the count is negative, but the count is positive. So
I say something again. She backs off again. I win a few more hands, and then the count goes neutral, and she decides she's playing no matter what. So she puts out her $20 voucher, and they allow her to play less than the table minimum. So I color up and I leave. I'm ahead $612.50. I was ahead another $150 earlier. So pretty decent, not bad. And I go to the cashier. I look over to my left and she's cashing out $20. I'm like, did you really just play one hand? You came to my table and bothered me. There's a lower limit table next to me with no one on it. But you have to come to my table and bother me when I had a positive count. Luckily, it went from like a true 3 down to neutral. But give me a break, lady. So I hate that stuff. I go back to the table after I cashed out. And I say to the dealer, I said, did she really just play one hand and leave? And he's like, yeah. Like it was no big deal, you know, like he didn't give a damn. And he didn't give a damn from the beginning. Every time I try to make any kind of conversation with him, he didn't reply to me. So he can just, you know, do what with it. And that $12.50, that's all I can say. That's all I can say. There was no way he was getting any kind of tip from me. So even with the blackjack I got toward the end there, with I think it was a true 1 or something like that, or just under a true 1. So, yeah, so overall, I ended... Oh, and then after that, I see a friend of mine who's a dealer, and I go over there to talk to him, but he's in the middle of a big controversy. So this guy was playing a side bet, and every hand he's playing, and allegedly what happened was he stopped playing the side bet, and the first hand he stopped, he hit it. And it's not like a big payout. It's like a 8-1 or 10-1 type of payout. So it's not like huge. You know, if it was betting $5, you know, it's not that much. But he holds up the whole table. He calls the pit over and says, man, but I was playing it every hand. Nobody cares if you're playing it every hand. If you didn't have it, would you say, here's $5, I was playing it every hand and I wouldn't have hit? No, you wouldn't have said that. You're free rolling them. If they give it to you, that's good for you. If they don't give it to you, you break even. Don't be I don't want to start, you know, not being a family show anymore here. So anyway, so I ended overall plus 762.50 on the blackjack and plus 81 on the slots. And we're moving on to another casino. And I'll be back, hopefully, with some more good news. All right, guys, I am back. Life is like a big comedy show. I used to want to be a comic, honestly. Used to want to be a lot of things that I never got to be. But I wanted to be an astronaut because I thought space was so cool and infinite. Now I think how terrible it would be to be stuck in that little phone booth up in the sky somewhere and recycling your pee and someone watching everything you do every second. It's man. I also wanted to be a comic, but the thing about being a comic is I was afraid people would laugh at me, so I decided not to be a comic. So anyway, let's see here as we're getting out of here. That was a little comedy right there. I don't know if you caught it. If you didn't catch it, that means I'm terrible at it and I made the right decision not doing it. So I come into this place, I go in the parking lot, get into the casino. I'm walking into the casino and I see one of these new guys that's always checking machines with his earphones in all the time, and he's just going from machine to machine, being as obvious as possible. And I'm like, well, that's the end of that. I'm probably not going to find much. But I did find a couple plays. I found one play I lost like $40 on, and another one I made just a little over $40. So I ended up ahead like $6 overall. But the funny thing is when I was checking machines, there was a machine that I checked maybe a week or two ago, and there was a grumpy lady in the middle. If you remember, there were 3 machines. There was a lady in the middle, and she had just hit a bonus on this machine. And I came by, and I was checking the machine next to her, So she wouldn't push the button to start the bonus because she thought it was going to be bad luck with me being there. Well, I checked that machine and I'm leaving, and I go to the machine on the other side. By that time, she had pushed the button to start the bonus or free games or whatever you get on that game. And then she was really upset that I was checking the other machine. Now, some of my friends will not check a machine if someone is next to them. You know, most of the time, I don't do that. It just depends. Just a few of them that I don't care. But anyway, this was the same machine, and the guy was in the same seat, this Hispanic guy. And he's watching me, and he has no clue what I'm doing. And he's watching me check the other one. He has no clue what I'm doing. And then he keeps on playing, and it's like, it's so obvious. I'm looking for something. Now, listen, when I didn't know about this stuff, I would see people checking machines, and I think to myself, how stupid are these people? It's all random, right? And people still tell you that. It's all random. You can't beat it. You know, even people that I know who are poker players and even count cards think that it's impossible. But anyway, then that guy left. I came back to the machine. There was nothing there anyway. So that was kind of like a waste of time for that stop. But, you know, you never know. I could have found something huge there. So, okay. So, right now, I am going to go get, I was going to go get some food, but then, like, a few hours from now, I'm going to head toward that other casino, and I'm going to be able to get food there for free. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to actually use money, whatever that is, and try to get some food with it. I'm so used to like using chips for everything. Using money is like weird, but all right, money is like a tool to me. It's not for eating, but this time we're gonna make an exception, and I kind of feel like having like a grilled chicken. I said that the other day, and I don't think I had it, but like nice chunks of grilled chicken, and I think I know where I can go to get that. So we're gonna run over there, and you know, I haven't talked to my friend 5 a.m. in a while, and I know he's got some stuff coming up soon. I'm gonna see if I can communicate with him a little bit, see how he's been. I think he's back home, and find out when he's gonna be back in the country, and maybe we could hang out a little bit. So I missed talking to him when he was in the same area that I was. It was kind of nice to communicate about tables and dealers and machines and stuff like that. So anyway, for now, I'm going to let you go, and I'll be back to update you. Oh my goodness, guys. I was in that casino. I mean, this is like 4 hours later, and I was in that casino for about an hour. I come out, and there's like a light mist, and I'm like, okay, this is all right. You know, there's no snow. It's supposed to be snowing by now. There's no snow. I'm okay with that. And then I noticed that the light mist is freezing on the corner of my window. I'm like, okay. So put the defroster on. Now it's freezing more. And I put the defroster up so it's full blast. Freezing more. Now I got a little tiny hole that I can see through. And I put the temperature all the way up, and now I can't see anything. So currently, I had to use my wiper fluid a few times to get this stuff off my windshield. I got the temperature all the way up. You can hear the fan going full blast. I got the wipers going, and I can barely see out my window. The temperature right now is 28 degrees, and this is just awful. This is way worse than I imagined. I imagined some nice fluffy snow falling, and it would be no big deal. I'm very concerned about the road conditions right now. I haven't tested to see if it's slippery or not, but I'm very worried about that. Traffic is heavy, so there's a lot of bad things that could happen at this point. So right now, I'm about 20 something miles away from the gas station I stopped at this morning. So now my plan is going to be go over there, even though I don't need that much fuel. I still have about a third of a tank left. Get gas again, keep the car running while I'm there. I'll be under a roof, and that'll clear things up, and hopefully everything will be fine from there. The car will be warm enough that any freezing rain that comes down will melt. So it's darn hot in here, I can tell you that. I'm sweating right now, but I got to keep that temperature up to keep the windshield from freezing. As far as the casino, was not very eventful at first, and then became very eventful. I walk in, looking around, I find like maybe one play. I'm trying to remember what that even was. Oh, yeah, I find one play, and I'm down like $20, maybe less, maybe less, maybe like $8. And then I find another play, I'm down like 60 cents now. And I decide just to take my time and see if I can find anything else. About 20 minutes later, I'm playing a machine, and I'm involved for $1,000, and there's no end in sight, and I'm just waiting for it to pay out so I can get up. I'm praying that I can get up and I'll only be down 200 or 300, and it finally hits better than expected, and I end up walking away from the machine plus 35. So, jeez, oh my gosh, after all that, I end up ahead $35, and needless to say, some weeks slots are my friend, some weeks, you know, you got to struggle, and all you do is break even all the time. So, I mean, it could be worse, but, you know, I'm not loving it right now. So, then I had some free food, and I decided, you know, go stand in line, and I just wanted to get some drinks. We'll talk about what I ate here in a minute, but I'd already eaten, so I got some drinks to take with me. While I was waiting in line, this guy standing behind me, very talkative guy. He's like older, not older. He's like, he told me he was 52, but he looked a lot older than that. Biker guy, and he told me that back in 1995 he was a millionaire. Now he's not, but he doesn't have to work, and he's got like 8 girlfriends, age 19 to 31, and they all want to have kids with him, and he doesn't want to have kids and all this stuff. And he's like, by the way, man, if you want some free food, just go up to the pit boss and say, can I have $15 for the deli? Take your time. I'm not worried. Take your time. And he'll always give it to you. And he told me that 7 years ago, he was playing a side bet, and he hit it for $6,000, and they wouldn't pay him. They paid him the wrong amount, and they shorted him basically $6,000. And he said that they reviewed the video. They wouldn't show it to him or anything, but they said the payout was right. And he said he hasn't played table games since then. And but he still goes up and asks them for the comp, and they give it to him. I don't know. I don't know if that's real or not, but I don't know what to believe these days from anybody. Overall, okay. Made about $1,000 today. I don't know. What do I expect? How much do I want to make? Do I really expect to make like $5,000 a day endlessly? I don't know. But it seems like nothing makes me happy right now. So, made some decent money today. Put some miles on the car, but still made good money. We could talk about our segments. Looks like the road's getting a little bit better. It's now light mist right now, so it's not as bad as it was before. Before it was like a heavier rain, and it was freezing instantly when it hit the windshield. But what did you eat today, MW? Well, I told you what I was craving. I was craving like a grilled chicken type thing, and I found a grocery store that had like, I don't know, 3 chicken breasts chopped up like into strips like you would with fajitas, and had some lettuce in there and some pickles and things in there, and I bought that. It was like $12, and I ate 2/3 of that probably, and I was very full. I was happy, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was cold. I would have preferred it to be warm, but it was pretty good. I'd give it probably a 9 on a scale of 2 through ace. Other than that, that was it. Water to drink, some Diet Coke to drink. That's about it. And then, what did you tip today, MW? And, I had 2 blackjack sessions today, a bunch of slot sessions. Never got a jackpot, so nothing there. As far as the blackjack sessions, one dealer, I had the Asian lady who was really rude that came to the table, and that dealer wouldn't talk to anybody. He was this like Hawaiian looking guy. And the other table was like multiple dealers in a short period of time on a busy table. It was a slow table, and I didn't tip them either. So total today I tipped $0. And I am heading toward this gas station, and then I'm going to head home, and keeping my computer alive, so it looks like I'm working hard. I'll catch up on some work tonight. I have some audits starting tomorrow, and just take it one step at a time. We'll go from there. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.